Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. We are here today with the folks from CyberHoot. We've got Craig Taylor, who's the co-founder and CEO of CyberHoot. We've also got Raf Boketti, who is the virtual CISO for CyberHoot. And we're also joined with Katie Boketti, who is support for CyberHoot. Welcome, everyone. How's your day going today?
Fantastic. Thanks for having us here, Scott.
Very
Awesome.
good.
No problem. I'm always happy to have you on and learn new things about the world of cybersecurity and how CyberHoot can make a difference to MSP and IT business owners around the world. So, Craig, let me start with this. I always like to ask everybody, what's the weather like where you are? And if I'm not mistaken, aren't you in New Hampshire?
Yes, exactly. I'm in New Hampshire, but we're all over the world. Raf's in, I think it's Philadelphia right now, right?
Okay.
Pennsylvania and Katie as well. But we've got developers in North Carolina and Delaware, and we've got consultants all over the world.
All right. Well, the developer in North Carolina is kind of close to me. I'm in South Carolina, one state down, but awesome. Well, did everybody have a happy Memorial Day weekend?
We did. I did.
Yep.
Awesome.
Very good.
Well, we cooked out some we've got a smoker and we smoked some ribs yesterday. So that was good. I really enjoyed it. And looks like the pool weather's here, so finally. But awesome. Well, let's dive in, folks. Let's hear about CyberHoot and how you are changing things, changing the game for MSPs.
Sounds good. I appreciate that. So I'll just quickly share my screen and we can get started.
Yeah.
All right. So here we've just put together a couple of slides for you that will help you understand where we're going and what we're doing with CyberHoot. So in a nutshell, CyberHoot is a SaaS platform sold through the MSP community, your listeners here, to help secure their clients through awareness training and a disruptive educational, really industry-leading positive outcome phishing test. Many insurance providers, when you sign up for insurance today, Scott, they're saying, do you run phishing simulations and do you train your employees? And that's exactly what CyberHoot was designed to do. But there's some really difficulties in the industry with traditional attack-based phishing, and we'll get into that in a little bit, because CyberHoot is really set about to eliminate all the points of friction that your MSPs experience just trying to bring awareness training, phish testing, and the right measures to bear on their clients to help educate and train them. So I thought maybe I should answer the question, what problems does CyberHoot solve for your MSPs? We know from studying the literature that 90% of breaches are tied back to human error. CyberHoot really was designed to help build a human firewall that helps protect your companies from attack. And that's one of the primary problems we solve. The second is that we don't want to take any credit for it. We want your MSPs to get that value from the relationship of training and educating every last employee at your client site. We want them to thank the MSP. And so we created a white label solution that really gives that credit back to the MSP. So we solve a couple of problems that MSPs are always facing. We create a revenue opportunity for you to sell phish testing, awareness training, product training to your clients. We add value to that client relationship. We've studied this, and 90% of companies in CyberHoot renew their MSP agreement year over year over year. That was in a 3-year study. So it adds a lot of value to those client relationships. We also help you protect and improve your profit margins. If you have one breach in a quarter that's avoided because the awareness is created and the users aren't clicking on phishing attacks and things of that nature, you're protecting your most precious senior engineers who have to stop what they're doing on Friday night, because the attacks happen over the weekend, and get on a bridge or a phone call or a Zoom meeting and start working on recovering a client's data because it's all encrypted. If you can avoid one of those, your engineers are a lot happier. They have better quality of life, happier lives, happier wives. The cost to your MSP is reduced, right? You're spending less money supporting the clients out there because they have fewer incidents, right? The clients themselves benefit because they're not down. They don't have their data ransomed or some business email compromise event. So you really do, with awareness training from cyber, you're going to protect and improve your profit margins. And we've talked about client satisfaction and retention is there for sure. So maybe let's talk now about some of the features and the value that we add. When you deliver awareness training, Scott, to your clients, one of the biggest challenges when we first set out 9 years ago now to create an awareness training site is we saw a lot of products on the market where you had to log in to take your training. And if you have an end user and you ask them to remember a password that they use once a month, they're just never going to remember it. It's going to be outside their knowledge. They're going to have to reset their account every month. So we started from the beginning with being a passwordless solution. Everything we deliver is delivered in an email with a clickable link that greets you by name. So you'd get an email on the 1st of June on Thursday of this month that says, Scott, welcome to the IT Business Owners Group awareness training website. You have a video to watch to learn about hackers or to learn about passwords and ransomware or phishing attacks. You click that link and you're instantly doing your 5-minute video. You would have 3 or 4 questions to answer and you're done for the month. It's that simple. What we've done in our system is also hack the system, because let's say you forgot to do that training, Scott. Well, a week later, we're going to send you a reminder that says, Scott, you might have forgotten, but you have this 5-minute exercise to train on a video and some questions, and you'll be done for the month. And it doesn't stop there. On the 14th day of the month, if you still haven't done it, you've forgotten, you will want to know this, because we're going to copy your boss, your manager, on that email that we send to you saying, Scott, your training is due today. You have time to complete it. But we've copied your manager, make sure he or she can free up time for you to do your training. And that one little trick alone pushes compliance through the roof in months 2 and beyond, because every employee doesn't want their manager to get an email every month for something that takes 5 minutes to complete. So it's a self-fulfilling high compliance model. Many companies that have any semblance of seriousness about a cybersecurity program get to 100% compliance in our tool. Let's talk about MSPs. What don't MSPs have? First of all, time. They don't have a lot of time to administer things, right? So we've created a frictionless automated administration system. All you do when you're enrolling your client in CyberHoot is enroll the client. You get their users in there, you set them to automatic mode, and we handle the rest. CyberHoot will deliver the onboarding email that welcomes you to the MSP's portal, this learning management system that's branded for the MSP. It has their logo, their colors in all of the email communications. It's on the landing pages of the web training videos and anything else. All of those assignments are delivered in a branded for the MSP fashion, but fully automatically. You don't have to do a single thing. You just enroll your customers in it. And our fish testing is so unique and so powerful. There are 3 problems I started to talk about a moment when we first started, Scott, about fish testing. Number 1, the end user experience, very negative. If they get fooled by a really complicated or diabolical phishing attack, they don't blame themselves for being tricked. They blame and actually look at the MSP or the IT department as causers of harm. They harmed me because they tricked me into this damn phishing click. Now I've got to take more training that doesn't really teach me anything about spotting and avoiding phishing. So we've reinvented that in a way that makes it a positive educational experience for end users. I might, if there's time today in our live stream here, I'll give you a demo of it to show you. Our phishing tests do not require any effort on the MSP side. There's no allow listing, no X headers, no PowerShell scripts. We guarantee the delivery of the assignment-based phishing link that takes the user to the branded website and it walks them through a phishing attack, and they have to choose safe or unsafe on 7 parameters. They have to learn and hover over. It's an open book test, so you can learn as you go any missing information that you don't have about typo squatted domains for the sender, for example, or why hackers use emotionality and urgency to push us into clicking on something and making a mistake. We teach your users how to do that. And the outcome is they are a positive educational experience. There's no effort on the MSP side, but the best part is your customer gets a score of 98, 99, 100% of our employees have taken and passed a phishing test. So we know they know what to look for. They know how to process their inboxes securely, efficiently, and positively, right? The rest of the industry, every other product on the market gives you this statistic. 5 to 10% of our users failed a phishing test. The other 90 to 95%, we don't know. We don't know what they did. They didn't or did get the email, they ignored it, they deleted it, or maybe they opened it in Chrome and they got a great big red box that says, warning, Scott, this is a phishing attack. Don't proceed and learn anything, right? That's the whole industry is built on these failure points, and we've eliminated all of those. We've also, we've just talked about the administration and then the phish testing itself. So we've covered this. And metrics, we've talked about the metrics too. How does that sound to you so far, Scott?
Sounds good.
Any
I like the
questions?
automated part.
Yeah, well, after talking to 1,000 MSPs who said, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have people, I can't find people to make the time to administer anything, we thought we have to just make it simple and 100% automated. And you can't automate traditional attack-based phishing because you have to go into the Mimecast and the Proofpoint and the Google Workspace and the O365 and do all of these crazy things just to get the messages to the inbox to give your end users a negative experience and not teach them anything. It's just so ludicrous that we had to do something different, and that's what we've done. So what are some of the benefits of joining CyberHoot at your MSP? We have a program that brings an innovative open platform of awareness training and phish testing to your clients. So they're going to experience a positive outcome, whether it's awareness training or a phishing test. It's going to be attributed to you, the MSP that taught these skills that, guess what? You can graduate MIT or Harvard or any other school, high school or anywhere else, and never have any training on cybersecurity skills for the 21st century. But I guarantee whatever job you're in, there's a very small number of them that don't require an email address and a computer to run, to do anything. So we're covering the things that the educational system has forgotten. One of the things about other unique things about CyberHoot is we're an open platform, Scott. So we curate content in addition to our own. And this has a strong value proposition for MSPs because if you had to listen to Craig or CyberHoot's own videos, after about 5 or 6 of them, you would be bored to tears and you would be like, I can't listen to another one of these CyberHoot videos. We avoid that by mixing in other experts across the internet, whether it be from a government of Canada or a cybersecurity firm or a consultant or some YouTube channel that talks about cybersecurity. We curate all these different topics that give the same message, because there's really 2 things that human error is tied back to. It's phishing attacks and password management. Those 2 things alone are 90% of breaches tied to those human errors. We give the same expert opinion that say password hygiene matters. You need to turn on multi-factor authentication. You need to be able to spot and avoid phishing attacks. You do those things and you really harden your environment. You've created that human firewall. But most people wouldn't listen to just Craig tell them that. They might start to listen and to digest it and to understand it and to believe it, most importantly, when they've heard 6, 7, 10 different experts from all over the world tell them the same thing. So our open platform creates 2 things. It eliminates boredom in the end users who have listened to maybe Craig's video or CyberHoot's video, and now they're hearing it from McAfee or Kaspersky or the government of Canada or some blogger telling them the same thing, and it sinks in. And by the way, that's always also an interesting mixture of videos and first person and caricatures and all sorts of different things. What you can tell your users is you never know what you're going to get with CyberHoot. It's always going to be unique and different, and hopefully fights that plague of awareness training solutions of boredom. So we have many clients in CyberHoot that have been in the tool for 6 and 7 years. They're 140 videos in, and they're still at 95% compliance on completing the assignments, which is a requirement for cyber insurance. It's a requirement for cybersecurity culture in your organization. Look, I give an example like this, Scott. Tell me about this. If you go to the gym once a year, will you get in shape?
That one day,
that one day. No, you won't be in shape that one day.
That's
you will
right.
have muscles that are sore than hell, right?
Yeah.
And that's what happens to so many companies. They think, well, let me bring in a consultant or bring in my MSP to give us a webinar once a year. It just doesn't stick. Nobody adopts the concepts in a 1 hour presentation. But what does work is going to that gym 2 or 3 times a week and being consistent over the course of many months. You will get into shape. Just like in cybersecurity, the analogy works. If you train once a month on a topic in cybersecurity, your employees will begin to adopt and learn and believe in the importance of cybersecurity. That periodicity really does work in creating a culture of cybersecurity. Now, we augment that with a quarterly phishing test, fully automated and that sort of thing. So we're building a program for your employees to really help them build that firewall. We do all the automatic things. We help you improve your profit margins. Client attrition, we had one study of one MSP, had 50 customers, Scott. 40 of them were in CyberHoot, 10 were not. And over a 3-year period, 99% of the ones in the 40 who were in CyberHoot renewed their MSP agreement. The one that left, there was 1%, I guess it was 2%, so maybe 98%. One that left was acquired by another company. The actual company itself was bought by someone else that had another solution. So of course they adopted that. So we could almost claim 100%, but I like to give that caveat. In the group of 10 that were not in CyberHoot, 2 of them left the MSP for no other reason than they fell out of favor. They weren't receiving the value in their conversations with that MSP. And you can't push every client of yours into CyberHoot when you're an MSP, but you will probably go through some form of a maturation where initially you'll upsell it to your existing clients. You'll get 20 to 30% uptake, and you'll be able to sell it to those 20 to 30%. Then those 20 to 30% will become your poster children for the best clients at your MSP. They will get product training from CyberHoot. They'll do their phish testing, their awareness training, and they'll have fewer difficulties. They'll have fewer calls to support. They'll email you, your support organization, far less with the, Scott, I don't know if this is a phishing attack. It seems like it, but I can't be certain, and I don't want to click on anything. Can you tell me, am I under attack? Those emails go away with our phishing exercise because the users learn exactly what to look for. And instead of forwarding, they just press the delete key and they move on with their day. So it really does help improve customer satisfaction, knowledge, all of those good things. Here's an interesting one. We did talk to senior engineers at MSPs who actually started pushing adoption of CyberHoot to their leader, to their owner of their company, because they recognized 1 or 2 fewer incidents a quarter means I have more family time. I'm not working Friday, Saturday, Sunday, recovering data from backups or figuring out how to extricate a hacker from a business email compromise and running, reports on who they emailed and this sort of thing. So your engineering staff will really thank you for adopting it. So how about we do a demo? I think we're about time to do a demo.
Yeah,
I think that makes sense. So let's go into one of our environments here. I've got to just switch over to that now, and I will show you one. So let me do this. I'll just move myself right over here. Let me know can you see this? We have a screen here. This is one of the login screen dashboards, but we're looking at a phishing exercise. I thought this would be a really helpful example to give to your live stream. And if there's questions, we can answer questions too. What this is not a typical phishing test where we send an attack email to the end user, and if they click on it, they fail the test, they're assigned another video, a little bit of a punishment for making a mistake, instead of teaching them the skills they need to not repeat that mistake in the future. So what we say is, here's an email, you land on it by name. So this would be Scott. Welcome to, and insert your MSP's name here. Notice this is branded for CyberHoot. It would be branded for your MSP because we're in a demo environment. You're here today because we have a phishing test for you to complete. And it's not a typical phishing test, right? We say that here. We have several indicators randomly selected from a database of malicious and good or non-malicious emails. Now, there is no one else on the market doing this today. And while we risk giving away the secrets of CyberHoot's effectiveness, we're going to show you today. We want you to look at these 7 components of an email and tell us in each case is what you're seeing in this prototype email, a malicious indicator, meaning you're under attack, or a safe indicator, meaning it's legitimate. And then if you correctly identify all of those cases, you will pass the test. So this is the phishing exercise test. It happens on the cyberhoot.com domain name, so there's no need to do any allow listing or X headers. So here we have an Equifax email. We're all familiar with Equifax because it was hacked about 3 years ago and they lost all our data and it was a really big mess. But we'll just pretend we forget that. We're just talking about, does these individual components look safe or not safe? So here we have the first question. Does this sender appear safe? And we know to hover over this. And if we look at that carefully, do we see the correct domain name? And what's really nice about this test is you and I would probably get this right away, that Equifax.com, it looks perfectly legit. We'll mark it safe. But let's say you've got someone in accounting, fresh out of high school or college, and they have no idea what typo squatting and social engineering is. And we have to explain to them that hackers can't normally email you from the domain they're impersonating, so because that's blocked. So they need to create these fake domain names with look-alike letters. So in the actual attack version of this, there would be something other than Equifax.com. So we know this looks safe. We're going to mark it safe. Next is the subject up here. And this is a wizard-driven set of questions for your end users because they need the help. They need to be walked through the exercise. And here we have Equifax, stop paying more for things, check your credit report today, just do it. And there should be a period here. There's some weird urgency to this. I don't see any spelling mistakes, but it just doesn't seem to add up for me. So what would we be looking for? And we tell the end user truthfully, the subject doesn't always explain or tell you if you're under attack. There are certain things you can look for that might be an indicator, such as artificial urgency, spelling mistakes, punctuation. And we've got artificial urgency and a lack of grammar here. So I would mark this as unsafe. I don't know what you think, Scott. Do you agree?
I agree.
Okay, notice when you mark something safe or unsafe, it does change color. Now that's not required. It's just an indicator for some individuals. Moving down the list, here's the greeting. And many of you that have seen hackers and attacks over the years would know any generic greeting is automatically unsafe, but we explain it here, spell it out for you if you need the help. So we've marked that unsafe. Moving on to spelling, punctuation, and grammar. We have regularly checking your credit, comma, reports can be a great way. So this comma is not in the right place. To keep tabs on your credit standing and may help you spot signs. So that's just poor punctuation and grammar. I'm going to mark that unsafe. Now, if you weren't sure what you were looking for, we do have the help me to explain, in the absence of ChatGPT, there's a lot of hackers out there that don't have perfect grammar, spelling, and punctuation. ChatGPT will probably make all of our phishing attacks perfectly grammatically correct in the future. But for now, we can at least check that. So moving on, we said not safe. Now we go to this one here. Now I want to underscore the importance of this question. This is the question, Scott, where people have stopped me in the streets of Portsmouth, New Hampshire and said, Craig, I got an attack in my personal email inbox. It had this emotional undertone to it, and it reminded me of your exercise, and I knew exactly that I was under attack, so I deleted it. Thank you for teaching me that. This is the one thing that takes it from an anxiety, from a user that forwards all these emails to support at your help desk asking, is this an attack? Is that an attack? They know there's something wrong, but they don't know what, and they can't chance being wrong and failing a phishing test and being punished with more training. So they forward it to you. Well, no, instead, does the text here appear calm and informative rather than urgent and emotionally charged? Let's read what this says. With a My Equifax account, comma, you receive multiple Equifax credit reports each year, period. It's free. Simply sign into My Equifax now to get started. You don't want to miss this opportunity, do you? Oh, and there's a exclamation mark instead of a bullet point. That seems to have a little bit of urgency, maybe a little, fear of missing out. Let's read what we're looking for. And this is where it explains to the end user. Social psychologists have done studies that say people make poor snap decisions based on emotion or logic when they're rushed. That's why hackers send us these emails with emotionality and urgency. And so a fear of missing out. To me, You don't want to miss this opportunity, do you? And there's not even a question mark, it's more of an exclamation mark. That seems like a fear of missing out. So I would mark that no, not safe. What do you think, Scott?
I agree.
All right, let's try that. Could be wrong. We'll have to see. And check my credit. Oh, this is an interesting one. Does this link? So in any email you get, you could have links to third parties and outside domains. But in this particular case, this would be the login button. Check my credit now. And it's got this domain name that reads equifaxius.com. That's not Equifax. So clearly that's a typo squatted domain. And I would say not safe. How did we do? Let's go check. We got 100% correct. Now, all you MSP owners out there and administrators, think about what we just accomplished. Number one, for the end user, instead of punishing them or tricking them with something, we gave them the information they needed to make better decisions moving forward. We filled in the gaps. I liken phishing attack emails with those 7 components to a puzzle. I give it an analogy of a puzzle. Most people you ask, Scott, will say, I use this or I use that to decide if I'm under attack. That's one puzzle piece out of 7. You're looking at a very opaque, foggy decision-making process for 9 out of 10 people. And that's why so many businesses are breached with ransomware and malware and all of this stuff. They don't know what to look for. And no one's ever taught them. Now, compare that to this exercise where we gave them the exact answer they should be looking for on all 7 pieces. So now they have a crystal clear, perfect puzzle completed to be able to assign that to any message in their inbox moving forward. And I tell you, the end users tell me, I go through my inbox in half the time with more confidence and less anxiety than ever before because I know what to look for now. Thank you, CyberHoot. So that's what this accomplished on the end user's perspective. But it's better than that. The MSP had no effort to get this exercise completed. All you do is enroll your customers in it, and it's delivered to their inboxes with no X headers, no allow lists, no PowerShell scripts, no troubleshooting when Microsoft and Google change their spam metrics and start blocking things they didn't block before, and it breaks. In traditional attack-based phishing, it's very, very difficult to make that happen. And so most MSPs don't end up doing it. That's another little tidbit we determined when we surveyed and talked to MSPs, they weren't doing the important phishing testing. And so we've created that. The last thing that's so beneficial is the senior leadership, the CEO and the CFO and the board of directors of the companies you're supporting at your MSP get a 98, 99, 100% compliance score metric for all the users at your company having taken and passed this educational exercise. They've passed the phishing test. It complies with cyber insurance requirement to do phishing simulations and awareness training, and it also actually works. You know, I can show you a study. Here's the most interesting thing going. Let me do this PDF, and I'll just show you a study that, one second, PDF. And I grab this, put that in there. This is a study that was done not too long ago, July 2019 to October 2020, of nearly 15,000 employees on phishing testing, as it's normally done with the attack-based phishing. And let me blow up one of their second finding is unbelievable. Second, some of our results contradict prior literature and common industry practices, namely attack-based phishing. Surprisingly, we find that embedded training during simulated phishing exercises, commonly deployed by the industry today, does not make employees more resilient to phishing, but instead it can have unexpected side effects that can make employees even more susceptible to phishing. Not only is attack-based phishing not working, it's actually causing harm. It makes the IT department look bad. It makes the MSP. It doesn't help the end users learn what they need to know. It actually fails everyone, and it's hard to do. So why would anyone do this? We just don't understand it. Compare that to this educational exercise, and we're miles ahead of everyone else in the industry. Not one company out there today can deliver this, no one. So we really think this is the future of phishing. This is innovative technology, and it really does work. I can't show you on a live stream other clients, but we have dozens of clients with 99, 100% compliance on their phishing exercises. And for that matter, on their awareness training, because we engage management, we send automated reports, all of that good stuff to make sure people do their training. That's in a nutshell. Now, CyberHoot is a one price fee. We have a partner platform. We have direct for businesses, although we prefer to operate through MSPs. It's pretty simple. Maybe that's the gist of it for today. Any questions that may have come in?
So if you're not 100% channel, what kind of reasoning can you give the MSPs that you won't try to take their clients direct?
We don't want their clients. If we have a client that comes direct, we want to engage their MSP. Our first question is, do you have an IT department or an MSP? And if they say IT department, we'll use it. We'll support them then, because it's in-house, right? And they need our help just like anyone else. But if they have an MSP, we'll go reach out to that MSP and say, hey, we'd like to sign you up. You have a client that's really interested, that wants this, that came to us, and we'd really like to hand this off, because we're not prepared to do direct support to thousands of companies out there. We want to go through that channel and bring the knowledge, because every MSP has 50 different clients. We're just telling them about one that wants it. There's 49 others that they could engage and help us grow. So a long time ago, I learned that in life, you want to find win-win solutions. And I have built CyberHoot, and my co-founders and I have built CyberHoot on that model of win, 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 win. 4 wins. The end user wins, the customer wins, the MSP wins, and CyberHoot wins. Let's find those 4 win solutions out there, rather than a direct relationship that cuts the MSP out. It makes no sense to us.
All right. So let me ask you another question. So with that direct relationship that you have with the MSPs, do you ever have an opportunity to refer end users to MSPs that aren't currently working with MSPs?
Absolutely. In fact, it happened last week. We also provide vCISO services to a smaller number of clients. I think we have about 30 of them. One of them was doing in-house IT. The first step of our vCISO engagement is a risk assessment, and became abundantly clear that the IT department was not as prepared to support the IT infrastructure as we would want, right? When we do a risk assessment, we look for things, and we just found all kinds of challenges. We immediately engaged one of our IT providers that we know of to say, give them a quote to support their infrastructure. Maybe you can even keep the one IT guy on for local hands and eyes, which is often helpful in IT relationships, to have someone on site while you're doing remote support in your RMM tool. And it was a match made in heaven. They bought off on it, they signed up, and everyone's happy.
Sweet. We like that. We like stories like that for sure.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, if we've got someone who is interested, if we've got a member who is liking what they've seen, what is the best way that they can get in touch with you and your team, Craig?
Well, it's support@cyberhoot.com is one method for anytime you need questions answered. Sales@cyberhoot.com if you want a live demo. You can also go to our website and sign up direct under our pricing page. We have cyberhoot.com/pricing. You'll have the price for a partner program, for an autopilot program, which has some of the industry's best price per user training, bar none. And we also have a business direct line there that they can sign up as businesses.
Excellent. And I will tell anyone watching, if you do plan on getting in touch with CyberHoot, Craig and his team, please let them know that you watch this live stream and IT Business Owners Group, so they know that that's where the value is coming from as well. So awesome. Well, any other words of wisdom that you want to share before we wrap it up?
Yes.
Okay.
I would just implore your MSPs that are listening to this that cybersecurity is an expectation in clients. I would say we started CyberHoot 10 years ago. And back then, the fight that we had was to convince MSPs to give us a look, to say, hey, you want to add this to your toolbox of solutions for your clients. And in the last year or two, that's changed. We actually have MSPs coming to us now because their client asked for awareness training and phish testing, and their cyber insurance is calling it out. The time to get on board with an awareness training platform is now. You cannot afford not to have one or two platforms in your toolbox to bring to your clients. And you will be very glad you did, because those clients will become less difficult, less challenging. They will be happier with your services, and you'll have more nights and weekends free with family if you avoid those security incidents that everyone's experiencing and you read about in the news just every single day.
Well, we could all use more nights and weekends with family. I know I could. So that's awesome. Well, Craig, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day today and spending it with us here and kind of going over your platform. It was really nice. It's very well thought out. And, I'm excited to give it a test drive. So awesome. Well, Craig, thanks again. We'll have to do this again in the future.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us, giving us the opportunity, Scott. IT Business Users Group is a fantastic place and a resource for all your MSPs. And I'm a little jealous that you've got such a great following there. It's really nice to see.
Well, I appreciate it. It's been a long haul. It's been about 8 years since we've started it, and it started out as just a tiny little thing, and now it's blossomed into the great community that it is. So I'm very happy with it. So thank you so much, Craig.
Thanks for having us.
Y'all have a great day.
Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye now.